Happy Monday, the 21st of July. Owen Jennings here, your spiritual guides, coming in with the energies of the week from today, the 21st of July, until Sunday, the 27th. So, how are you? I hope that you are all well. Are you feeling the shift in energy? It's been intense, hasn't it? But I feel like as we're heading towards the Lionsgate portal on the 8th of August, there's this tremendous amount of light that we've been receiving on the planet. And, the planets generally are retrograde and doing all sorts of things behind the scenes, which means that really we're receiving a lot of energy. We're receiving a lot of light, which is good, but also it can be draining. I know there's lots of solar flares, the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's heartbeat, has been going crazy. There's been mad weather events and things like that around the globe. And I really think there's a big shift going on. And sometimes it can be hard for us to hold our light, hold our line as spiritual workers, as light workers, as light leaders. But it's more important than ever to kind of do that as much as we can. But we also need to acknowledge that we are human and that we have that side of us to cope with as well. So I hope you're being compassionate with yourselves if you're feeling any of these energies. Your sleep patterns might be disturbed, just generally might be feeling anxious, out of sorts, heart palpitations, that sort of thing. So this week, we're moving now into Leo season. Leo the lion. Leo is a fire sign. Leo is a very proud sign. Leo is all about the light, and of course the Lionsgate portal is always at this time. And Leo wants us to show up in our true authenticity, but also wants us to shine and be proud of what we've achieved so far, and the fact that we're still standing. Also, we're shifting now into midsummer, so nature is at its finest. This week kind of invites you to celebrate your achievements, to be grateful of all that you have. Because sometimes we can get tied down with what we don't have, or why things aren't right, or why we're not good enough. And of course that's the ego talking. But when you strip it back, and you also go into gratitude, then you will automatically receive more of what it is that you want or need. Having said all that, this week's planetary energy is quite strong, especially midweek. And we're going to be shown places where we are still dimming ourselves, where we are still saying yes when we're meant to be saying no, where we're pretending to be something that we're not in certain situations. Okay, and midweek you might actually, something might just change radically, and that's really to show you, you haven't changed it, so the universe is going to help you change it. Okay, we've also got the the new moon in Leo on Thursday. I've been hearing it's one of the most powerful new moons of 2025, and it's aligning with most of the outer planets. So it's very strong in its energy. It wants us to set really strong new moon intentions, wants us to look at not just our intentions, but what desires are awakening within us. I think we're all on this path of self-improvement, of really trying to go with our intuition, what our soul wants us to do, that sort of thing. But sometimes we can be hard on ourselves because we don't feel like we're as far along as we ought to be. I mean, who says how far along we should be anyway? But we have these voices that might say to us, "Come on, you're not far along enough, or you're not doing enough." But actually, is that true? Is that really true? Or is that just you, in a way, trying to criticize yourself more than you need to, when you should really be loving yourself, when you should really be being compassionate and kind with yourself? Yeah. So I pulled a couple of cards as well for this week from my Empowered Woman Rises deck. And the first card is Breathe, which of course is vital for survival. But this card is all about really connecting with your breath and therefore connecting with your body. So, most of us breathe quite shallowly. So this is about breathing, really breathing into your belly and really taking time to breathe in and breathe out. And as you're breathing in, imagine bringing in that light that's available to us and releasing anything that we no longer wish to hold on to, or at least just letting go of some of our criticisms of ourselves, of our thought patterns, of our stresses. It's really, when you breathe in the way we are intended to breathe and we connect with ourselves in that way, we come back to our essence and we really start to slow down. And in that slowing down, we can really feel into what we need. You see, if you're busy all the time, you're not able to tune into what you need quite so much because you're too busy doing too many other things. Yeah, remember, you're a human being, not a human doing. I have to remind myself of that quite often. So if you spend some time this week, in gratitude, really looking what has been working, see how far you've come, this year. And you take some time to yourself, maybe get outside, ground, notice the nature around you, really take some time to do these breathing exercises and really come back to yourself. Because then you'll start to be able to listen to what your body wants, to what your intuition wants. Okay? So most of you know, a lot of you know that, I've struggled sometimes expressing how I feel. And so what I've done instead is I've sort of eaten food to calm my nervous system, to shut up the noises in my head. And of course it doesn't work really. And then it's a cycle of destruction and not feeling good enough, and then shame and guilt and all the rest of it. But when I practice mindfulness and when I practice this breathing, this sort of breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4, and there's also that beautiful nostril breathing you can do, it really brings me back to what I actually need to regulate my nervous system. And it also brings me back to what my intuition is trying to tell me. So by trying to stuff down the noise of life, it actually doesn't help me. And I'm not saying any of you do that, but I'm just sharing. And and that's being busy as well, isn't it? That's doing something. So it's about really being with yourself. And then the other card that came up from my deck is Divine Feminine. So that's really a beautiful card as well, especially as it's Mary Magdalene feast day tomorrow when we celebrate the Divine Feminine. So just tuning into your intuition, just being you, having some time for you this week would be good. Divine Feminine is that softer approach, that intuitive, in tune with yourself approach. So try it, because the energy this week is strong. So you're going to need these techniques, actually. the breathing technique, and to keep yourself in tune with yourself. Yeah, and to try and keep yourself together in a way that's in tune with you. Okay. So let's see what else my guides have to say, but I think that's mainly it, to be honest. But let's see, I'll bring them in. Hello, everybody. Yes, this week's all about dealing with the bold energies that are around, because Leo season begins, and because Leo season wants you to be bold and shiny. It will also show you areas of your life, especially this new moon, where you are being less than you can be, and perhaps where you're avoiding things, avoiding trying to improve yourself, or well, not necessarily improve yourself, avoiding the things that need to be let go of, so that you can relax fully into yourself, so that you can really tune into what you need, you know, and what you desire. The energies are big this week, so you'll be feeling it. So really take that time to rest if you're tired. Take that time to tune into yourself. And that breathing exercise, or any breathing exercise that helps you to do that, will be really helpful. And just notice this week, you know, where you are still saying yes when you really should be saying no, or where you're allowing others to dim your shine. Okay, because it's time to shine, you know, it really is time to be you in your uniqueness and your beauty and in your wisdom. All right. And then, yes, there's the Mary Magdalene feast day tomorrow, which is all about honoring the divine feminine side of you, but also, if you're a female, honoring everything that you do within society, which is quite massive. And then there's the new moon on Thursday, which is also going to invite you to really not just set intentions, but look at your desires. What will fill you up? What makes you excited? Not just what is okay and is keeping you in the same loop and the same routines. Okay. Leo new moon's also asking you to show some gratitude for how far you've come, what you've achieved, and to be proud of your achievements. Okay. And then if something really, really needs to change, and we feel that some of you will get this message this week, that you really just have to take radical action and change something, then it's about burning down the old and starting the new, like really, like just going for it. So, brilliant energy this week to work with, especially if you are working with what you want to achieve in the next few months. As you start to head out of July and into August and come into the last 4 months of the year. Okay. So we wish you well and a beautiful week, and just notice if you're feeling tired, notice if you're feeling stressed, notice if you're feeling anxious. And in those moments, don't maybe turn to some of your old coping mechanisms, one of which Alwyn spoke about personally a minute ago. Might not be that for you, but you might have another one. But it's just really about accepting what's going on, tuning into it, and seeing how it can serve you or not. Yeah. All right. We hope that helps you. Take care, and we'll be back next week. All right. So I hope that was helpful. If any of you are stuck or in need of some positive feedback, guidance, clarity, then of course my Spirit Guides hotline is available. £27 for one question and £90 for 5 questions. And that's when you send in your question to me, and I will verbally channel the guidance and send it back. Or you can have a more detailed one-to-one session with me, where we decide what you need, whether that be working with my guides, Akashic Records, galactic support. All of those include my guides, of course. And of course, if you or anyone you know is going through a divorce or a separation and needs some extra support, then and guidance in that way, then please get in touch or share my details. All right, so take care, and I will be back next week. Have a lovely week, everyone. Bye for now.